Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps Daily Teachings. Before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is just for educational purpose, nothing is financial advice. Alright guys, amazing day in the market today, amazing breakout. So there's a lot to learn today. I'm going to talk about how we were in chop last few days and how we had a breakout trade today, how we traded the breakout live, how to trade SPY QQQ SPX. We'll talk about a few of our swing winners. We'll talk about the AI names with which sectors are hot. Memory was running today. We'll talk about memory stocks, data center names, and we'll talk about our usual MTF cloud strategies and the Ripster cloud strategies. Before we do that, a quick introduction. I haven't done a full long recap in a while, so let me do a quick introduction. So anybody who's new to our YouTube, new to our X accounts, or new to our new to our community or our other YouTube channels. So we trade a repeatable system based upon my teachings that I've been teaching for over 8-9 years on X, on YouTube, teaching freely the teachings which have changed many lives, includes my indicators that I've invented, also includes all my concepts on swing trading, day trading, price action, technical analysis that I teach the traders freely, have been teaching freely. You can go to ripstereducation.com. You can take a look and see how many lives have changed by my teaching for those who really are willing to learn and being a successful trader. We trade all these setups, all these teachings in our community, Tana Trade Group, one of the largest online trading community, where we make the plan pre-market live, and I'm live there. We make a plan for every play, news plays, earning play, Mag 7 plays, and upgrades, downgrades. We trade futures, we trade crypto stocks, we give the crypto levels in the pre-market, we trade futures. All futures was amazing day today. We traded the futures, we give the futures level in the pre-market as well, and then we have our day 2, day 3 strategy, which we will discuss today as well. A lot of our day 2, day 3 setups. I did a free webinar on these setups as well. And then we also do our swing and investing, long-term investing. We have our own app, research app. We have our own portfolios, which are short-term portfolios up 180% since the launch last 4 months, and short-term portfolios up 46% since we launched. So all that being said, I'm on the live community. I'm on the live screen share, live trade, guiding my traders through all the setups. Thousands of traders are on our trading floor discussing the trades all day long. We have so many tools in the community: option flow scanners, stock scanners, breaking news alert. Today was actually an amazing day with some breaking news there. So tools over $500-600 are free for anybody who joins our community. But anyways, I'm going to start with a recap so that you guys can learn, and those who are not in community can learn, and those who are in the community can also see how we trade and understand all my teachings and recap from all of our trades this morning. We cover winners, we cover losers, and so let's start. So I'm going to start with SPY QQQ. What SPY QQQ did today, I'm going to start with that. I'm going to talk about why today was a good day on a SPY trade in the morning, and we'll take a look here. So you see that SPY had a breakout today. This is called range breakout, 1 hour breakout. I'll show you in a minute here. And you always need to know that after consolidation comes a breakout. These 3 were consolidation candles: 1, 2, 3, and the breakout. So same thing was for QQQs. Consolidation, you could see that the price action was stuck. Go up, go down, go up, go down, and we also had a breakout there on QQQs, all-time high breakout on SPY. So we were ready for this, right? So in the pre-market, I was also on the voice. I told the traders, let's look at our pre-market planning. The first thing to note is what was happening last few days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We were kind of in a choppy action. If you look at the 1 hour candles, up, down, up, down. Tuesday was definitely a short, 1 hour short after the morning. You see, none of the candles broke the pre-market highs last 3 days. Today the difference was we broke the pre-market highs and we ran all day, and that's how we traded. Same for QQQs. We could not break the pre-market highs and we were stuck in the daily range. So you need to analyze this. When this happens, you preserve. I talked about the chop, I tweeted about the chop. When this happens, you preserve, you trade less. But when you're ready for the breakout, and it's not hindsight, we were ready for the breakout. Let me see if I can show you that, what we talked about in the pre-market planning. So in the pre-market planning, I said long or SPY over last 2 days highs. Both over MTF, bullish bias, but we need the daily level to break out. What was the daily level? That's the level that I just showed you on the daily chart. We had 3 days of morning chop. So we want to watch the confirmation at 10 a.m. and of course 10:40, for the long setup. So this was the plan, and we also gave these levels for all the SPY QQQs. And levels were provided to the traders live in the community, those who want to just take the levels and trade their own. And we also had the levels for futures. So let's see what happened, right? So let's see what happened. I'm just going to go to 10 minutes. I already showed you that breakout. So let me go to the 10 minute. We're not even going to look at the wicks. I already had my breakout lines charted. As soon as I see the breakout, and remember PPI was lower, you have to be ready. So PPI was lower, SPY QQQ, breakout longs. Right at the open, when I see the candle, I tell the traders SPY QQQ, breakout longs. So this is the QQQ breakout. Right here was the breakout long. So I told the traders to the breakout. I also tweeted about it. You can see that this was our 1 hour breakout right here. Right here, this is where our traders took the long. And I also said first, finally a good open after 3 choppy days, 1 hour breakout, right? So you know that this is the day you're going to go long. So I gave the target 777, 729 on QQQs. We hit 777. Once we broke that, I told the traders breakout next flag. You can see the timestamp 950, breakout next flag. And we were breaking out over that 1 hour setup. You can take a look here. We were breaking out continuously, live trading, live in the community, everything live. And SPY, QQQ, SPX, NASDAQ futures. We can take a look at NASDAQ futures. So NASDAQ futures did pretty good as well. You see that there's the breakout on the NASDAQ future right here. So exactly as planned, right? So you have to plan that, be ready. Future traders did really good in the community. When we took our profits here, finally when we broke this 512, we exited. But you do see that SPY bounce from this 10-minute clouds and held the 1 hour trend, 512s on 1 hour. See, look at that 512, 8-9 ribbon, held it. So that was a different trade, but the morning trade was this long breakout. A lot of traders did really good on that setup. So you can see that how traders in the community were, making these were if you were an option trader, the option traders were making. Govin made 200%, discipline 100% on Tesla. That was breaking out too. We can recap a Tesla later as well. SPX 200%, SPY 250%, 260%. All these traders are not just blind alert followers, they follow my teachings. And you see that Harsha did 300%, and they're done for the day, right? If you are trading $1,000 option, you're making $3,000, you're done for the day. Cloud did another 300%. Hundreds and hundreds of traders did those trades. We'll talk about IRN. IWM went 250%. When you know that there is a breakout and technical breakout, bullish news on PPI, you have the chart analysis, you have a plan in the pre-market, you trade SPX, SPY, QQQ, whatever you trade. That's how you trade them for livings, and you hold for the maximum profits. I told my traders hold. That was my continuous guidance, because we can't take a small profit on a day like this, and when the chop comes, we are like losing more. That's not really what we want to do. We want to hold. We wait for such big trend days. You can see that in my voice guidance, I told the traders hold it. You could see that, hold your SPX. I told the traders to hold your SPX. Let it work, and that's how traders got those 300-400% gains on their options. If you're trading leverage ETFs, or even if you're trading anything which is strong in the market, with the market, and you're taking those profitable trades, because winners big, losers small. If I'm making $3,000-4,000 today, and if I'm a SPY index trader, market is choppy like how it was on Monday and Tuesday, I could afford to lose, or I would sit on hands. But today was not that day. Today was a breakout SPY, breakout long day, just like I tweeted out. No hindsight, my live guidance, you can see that breakout longs right at open. Beautiful day for traders, beautiful day for community. That's what you want to do on a big bullish day. You want to make most of your profits and preserve on the choppy day. You can go to ripstereducation.com and learn about chop versus trend, so you're not stuck in the chop. So remember that daily range breakout, 10 a.m. breakout, pre-market high breakout, higher lows, higher highs, read the 10-minute candles, get a good entry, use the stops on the 512s, hold, scale out, and hold for your maximum profits. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, before we go to our other trades, it's important to see that what was strong today, right? So today the strong Mag 7 were strong, CPU stocks were strong, software was strong. From our Tanner Research investing app, we track what is strong for our day trades and our swing trades. We try to find these opportunities. We had, so we know those sectors were strong, so we could focus on those, right? Photonics were weak, some other stocks were weak, data centers after the initial push were weak. So we know that what is strong and we focus on that. But let's talk about our data center plays. I'm going to start talking about our play on NBIS today. So first I'm going to talk about yesterday long, how we longed NBIS yesterday. So yesterday we had a bullish news on NBIS earning play yesterday, 227 breakout, bullish bias to long over the pre-market high breakout. So yesterday, as soon as I saw that right over here, that NBIS is making a flag at 10 a.m., I tell the traders to long, put the stops at 224.50. Traders put the stops here, right here on the 224.50. They long right here at 229, risking like $5. We ran it up all day long. A lot of traders were swinging it as well from that 512 cloud. Huge winner for the traders on NBIS yesterday. Also, in a swing trading account, Tanner Research, I have told the traders to add the swing at 189. So my swing traders are also up really nicely, 30-40% there, 30% there. So anyways, I was longer there. We kept on moving the stops. We moved the stops to 228, continued to push. I gave the target of 240. Next target I gave was 245. The third target I gave was 250. So my traders held it all the way long to the Ripster clouds for an exponential winner. I just showed you all the targets. We hit all our targets yesterday. Many traders were swinging it out there. So now let's see what happened today, right? So let's come to today. That was yesterday. So this morning again we had a plan. It was on our day 2 setup. This was our day 2 setup. Earnings day 2 long over the pre-market high or yesterday highs or 512 calls. 255 was our key resistance, 259 to break. So as soon as I see that we are breaking or this pre-market high level 255, then we are breaking this level. I told the traders that is a day 2 long. So right away, my traders hit the day 2 long, NBIS a day 2 long, or you see 934. We took it all the way. I told the traders it's flagging. We hit 275, so almost a $15 per share profit. Even if you're risking $5, 1 to 3 reward. Finally, when it broke this 512 right here, this is where we exited, right? So this is where we exited because it broke the 512s. A lot of traders just shorted it here from 265 all the way to this pre-market low support. But you could see that with the Ripster cloud, when to long, when to exit, when to short. So that was our NBIS, huge winner for our community. This is the reason our community is one of the most successful out there, because our system, my teachings, they're top notch, and our traders really did well on that. And the same thing happened on IREN. We will talk about it, but I did explain the 512 fades. You can see that 512 fades on NBIS. All right. So now let's talk about IREN today. Let's go to IREN, how we traded that IREN setup. Another data center name, CoreWeave, IREN, NBIS. All those are our data center names. Let's take a look at IREN. So IREN, we was on our game plan. Remember, already the data center name was hot. Yeah, so it was already hot. And now this morning we had the news here. Let me see if I can show you that. So NBS, we already talked about the day 2 plan. So we had this is 1 second here. So I already showed you the plan on NBIS. Then IRN was right there. Also a lot of news on IRN today. Plan was bullish bias to long or the previous day highs or the pre-market highs, and these were our levels that I gave the traders. So again, data center is strong. The data center names are strong, and they're working really good. So another news comes on IRN, NBS is strong, CoreWeave is strong, so we got along it. It's a market awareness. The data center is right now very hot. It did become cold later in the day, but it was hot, like memory names or software names became hot later in the day. So as soon as the market opened, I see that. So as soon as the market open, I tell the traders that to long that versus that to long versus put your stops at 45.40. You long it. This is your stop right here. You long it. The breakout is 46.80 because that is a pre-market high breakout. I got some at 46.27. Right there. My stops were like 80-90 cents. I sold some at 48. I got almost $2, and then we sold rest a little at 49. So 48 was my first target. 49 and 50 were my second targets, but we hit 49. We did not hit our other target. So finally, when it breaks 512, we exited it. So we risked, traders, some traders got $3 per share profit, nice 100% on the options. So that was the trade in the morning, and you could also do the 512 fades on that as well. You see it was also an MTF cloud breakout in the pre-market on the news, and it's been bouncing on the MTF cloud. The MTF clouds are beautiful. They're like a cheat code. So we'll be watching IREN on a day 2 as well. Not a good looking candle today because the data center semiconductors kind of dipped later, while all this these names were ripping earlier in the morning, and then the software news came. Software became a little strong, and the AI semiconductors become a little weak. So that was our IRN long, a beautiful winner. You could see the timestamped guidance, step-by-step guidance, pre-market planning was a beautiful winner. Let's go to the next one. So this one, I'm just want to talk about a SpaceX from yesterday when we traded it long yesterday. I'm just going to go to the yesterday's plan. SpaceX bullish bias to long over the pre-market, or long as the pre-market lows hold, no long under 3450 EMA, right? So I see that it held the pre-market lows right here, held the pre-market lows, breaking out right away. I told the traders to long the SpaceX, any pullbacks versus 135, good long setup. Your 135 is your risk. My traders took the long, and I gave the breakout at 1040. I told the traders we are going next breakout, and my targets were 144, 145, 150, 144, 148, and we hit all our targets. We kept moving our stops up. You could see that SpaceX also ran all day 512 Ripster clouds long for a beautiful winner yesterday, and then today it was under the cloud, so it was definitely not a long. It was on our day 2 plan. SpaceX short under pre-market lows, and you could see that once it broke the pre-market lows, it faded to the 139. So the $6 per share profit on the short side. This was a 512 calls. So I'm just showing you the power, like no hindsight, how we trade these setups with the Ripster clouds. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's look at the Micron and SNDK. So let's see what was the plan on Micron. So memory was all strong today, right? SNDK. We'll talk about our SKHY swing winner soon as well, but let me talk about these two here. So Micron, SNDK, these are all our main plays that we trade in the community. I think I also had, also I'll show you how we planned it, this trade in the community there on Micron, SNDK. So our plan, let me show you the plan first on our day 2 setup on Micron SNDK. Micron today was a 900 psychological long. SNDK was long over towards 1400 magnet, long over pre-market highs. So everything we plan in the pre-market, I highlighted them as a red plays on the focus. Same thing for SMCI. But if you see that what these day 2 setups did, let me see if I can show you here. So how we played this. Let me make sure I can show you this. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah. So you see that right away this is a breakout. This is the MTF cloud, MTF magnet. This is the MTF magnet setup. A lot of traders were long right at the open on Micron, Demi, Paul, Seb. Everybody was calling out the trades on Micron, Govinda. Everybody was on the long setup there, and all my traders were long on that SNDK, breakout from here. They ran all the way up. Same thing for Micron, all the way 512 longs, right? I was a little focused on the other plays, but my traders, they just literally killed it. Micron from MTF magnet, super strong, and these are our day 2 plays. That's why we focus on these day 2 plays. Micron, SNDK are always on our high watch list. We are always watching these plays for the long setup. So they were pretty good plays there on Micron, SNDK as well for our day 2 setups. Let's want to go talk about SKHY. So why did we long SKHY? Why did we took this swing? Let's take a look here. So as I was looking at all the memory names, I also mentioned that SKHY is my favorite because it's an ADR listing. We also did an in-depth research article on our Tanner Research investing in AI memory stock, SK Hynix story. So I explained why SK Hynix, I like it, and we explain to the investors why it is good to invest in these memory names. You have to invest in it. Technicals help you when to invest, when to swing trade. I also tweeted it out today. You guys can go and read it. So that being said, when I saw this pullback right here on SKHY sitting right here at the support level, this was a decent pullback because the reason being it was close to the IPO lows, and the valuation, everything for me made sense to start risking in that swing. to start risking that swing. So it was sitting 133. I see there's a support at 133, and there's a support at 125. We added in the long-term account, we added in the short-term account. We started with the small positions. Again, I like the memory names. I know it's a hard sector. I know it's a pullback. That's what my thinking is, to find the pullbacks in the hard sectors, the hard themes, right? So when I saw that, in our Tanner research, I told in our live portfolio updates, I told the traders, let's take a look at SKHY. Let me see if I can show you right here. So what I told the traders was SKHY. So we started the position 135.70 3 days ago, short-term portfolio and long-term portfolio. And the next day we added more into that SKHY. So I said I scaled into short-term, more into the short-term portfolio. Stops under the MTF will be either small green or break even if we break that. So what exactly I was doing, let me show you right here on this chart. When we added the swing initially on SKHY, let's take a look right here. We added the swing, on SKHY. Right here, when we added the swing, the next day we pushed towards 140 level. So what did we do? We reclaimed Ripster 1 hour MTF cloud. So this is where we added more. Right, this is when I sent the portfolio update. We trimmed on the top. We added full size. I turned my full size, my stops under it, barely $1.50 stops. Also added to the long-term position. We started here. We added more here because it was over the 1 hour MTF cloud, and it was a huge position. Not a huge position, a normal position, full position. And from there on, we continued to push, and we continued to break out, and we continued to hit 155, and then we hit 167 today. So overall, our position in our short-term portfolio and our long-term portfolio SKHY, since we averaged up, it's up 21-40%. We explained step by step where to trim, how to trim. Everything is explained in our portfolio updates, educational portfolio for traders to learn from. Of course, a lot of my traders are already in. My investors are in SNDK Micron, already doing pretty good. And our short-term portfolio gained a lot and pushed all the way 20% gain on SKHY and hit 185 new all-time highs on our short-term portfolio because we trim on the way. You could see that how we were trimming SKHY, 150, 153, 160, and this is where we added our NBIS. So you could see that how we were trimming all the way up on our position on the SKHY. This one swing trade, you could see that chart is looking pretty good on the daily, testing a big breakout Fibonacci level, and one trade in 3-4 days helped to push our portfolios up over 10-15% just with that one swing trade. So that's how you find these opportunities. Research with Tanner Research. Look for the hard themes. So we cover everything in our education sector. I talk about investing framework, how to invest, sector rotation, teach people that, and that's how we are growing our portfolios. That's how SKHY was a huge swing winner for us. Of course, the memory names were really good as well. All right, so that was for this SKHY. There's a few things. Other movers was good today. DDOG was good. I saw that DDOG has been down. I told the traders in the morning, DDOG on the watch for day 3 MTF setup. It ran from 242 all the way to 252. So DDOG was our MTF long setups. You see, I try to tell my community what are the good setups and not. Then we also had, what we had was we had a breaking news where we traded Workday in our community. That was a huge winner. Money started to flow all in these software names, so that was good. So let's talk about another one that we traded in the community. This one was a CSCO. This was our short play. Kind of was not working in the morning, but finally worked. Was initially a loser trade. So I told the traders to short CSCO versus 115. It pulled, stopped us out, but later it broke 115 and became short again. You could see that you could short it other for $3. It was a morning loser, but a midday winner on that CSCO, right? So that was our CSCO earning plays. Had a pre-market planning on that as well right there. So last thing we want to cover is our let's cover that AKAN. That was that's just this low floor trade we traded. I'm just going to see that here. So AKAN we traded in the after hours. You can watch my low float webinar, then after hour webinar. AKAN was previous runner. So trading low float needs a lot of practice. It's a different beast from large cap. But since this was a previous runner, I told the traders, that AKAN is a good setup. So I bought some here, 649. I gave the target of 10 MTF. MTF to the MTF magnet setup. Again, this was an MTF magnet setup on that, on low float of AKAN. A beautiful trade, almost over $5 per share profit there. So there were other MTF setups as well. Tesla was a beautiful MTF setup. So Tesla, let's look at Tesla. So Tesla, I didn't even have to guide my traders. All my traders were already on top of Tesla this morning. Why? It was an MTF breakout. I can show you the pre-market planning that I gave on Tesla. Because we are not like a blind spoon feed alert service. We build consistent traders, successful traders. And a lot of traders were right on the Tesla discipline called the Tesla. There was a lot of flow. I always tell the traders to watch the flow. The plan on the Tesla was pretty simple today. Tesla, watch yesterday's lows. If hold, can bounce. If not, cautious on longs. That's exactly what happened. It held the yesterday lows, curled 512s, MTF breakout, MTF to the MTF magnet. Beautiful winner for the traders today. So that was it for today, guys. Hopefully you could learn this concept. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.